Hey guys, welcome to my boho cabin. Today I want to take you on a tour of our 2 acres here, show you the different trees that we have and a little glimpse of our garden. Let's go ahead and start the tour. We've already done some work on the front of our home and I shared that over on my Instagram. Right now I just want to show you around our 2 acres and some of my favorite parts of this property. First off, right in front of our house, we have a gorgeous crabapple tree, and this just recently lost its flowers and it was gorgeous. I shared it on my Instagram. I'll make sure to pin that at the top of my Instagram so that you can see all the different glimpses of flowers that I've come across in this yard. And then right here is another crabapple tree. This is one that has deep pink blooms on it. And I'll share that in that same highlight tab on Instagram so that you can see it. This 2 acres is one of the main reasons why we purchased this home. We really wanted some space for our kids to grow into and just so that they could be a little bit more in a country setting. And we really love that we were able to find this piece of property. We put in a garden recently and my dad was able to bring me some black and red raspberry vines, and so we've planted those here along the garden. We also had this grapevine here that was just a ball of vines right in the middle, so my dad went ahead and pulled those out to each side so that hopefully at some point we can get some grapes from this vine. And then we put up a fence and put in a garden just a few weeks ago. It's growing really well. I was able to bring over some plants from my garden at my previous house, and then we planted a lot of annual plants in here as well. And if you'd love to see more of a tour of this garden, let me know and I'll share with you what I've planted, and I'll share progress on that over on my Instagram as well. We have a couple large maple trees in our backyard here along the back of the house. They provide a lot of shade, and we also have some pretty large oak trees on the other side of the house that I'll show you in a little bit. My dad also put together this swing set for the kids. I think I shared that on my Instagram. I share a lot on my Instagram before I share it here, I guess. But here's the back of the house. It has a small deck and the big windows looking out over the yard. Here's a swing that was left here at the house, and I was really happy about that. My dad power washed that, and so it's rid of all of its moss now. Over in this portion of the yard, I did find a lilac bush. I was so happy to find that. I love lilacs so much, and they just started blooming. And in this area here is what we've affectionately named Lake Bolton. Every time it rains a lot, it turns into a small lake. So eventually we'll try to figure out something to level out that ground so that it doesn't turn into a lake every little rain shower that we get. On this side of the house, there are several oak trees. We also have a few trees that have died, and so we'll be taking those down eventually so that we can use them in our fireplace indoors. The property is also lined on 3 sides by some pretty large pine trees. We have some white pines mainly along the back, and then in the front I found some Douglas fir and some blue spruce pine trees, and they're all pretty large. I don't know if the previous owner planted them. I'm really not sure how long they lived in this home, but I am very glad that they did plant them here. We have yet another crabapple tree on this side of the yard. This is another one of the ones that have the deep pink blooms on it, and it was really pretty. It's a little bit farther from the house, so I don't see it as much. And then also on this side of the yard, we have a magnolia tree, which I've never had a magnolia tree in one of my yards before, and so it's so pretty with the blooms on it. Of course, I shared that over on my Instagram as well, and I'll put that in a highlight so that you can see it, but it's lost all of its blooms by now. That is all of the yard that I have to show you today. Thank you for joining me on this yard tour. If you want to see more of the yard, please check out my Instagram. I will put all of the new blooms and flowers and plants that I find. I'll put those in a highlight on my Instagram so that you can see them as I find them throughout the year. I'm sure we still have some more to bloom.